Hello everyone! Venari is a broker that's hanging out in the mall and a great aid in our efforts against the jailer or climbing the tower of Torghast or pretty much anything that we need she can hook us up with. I finally finished earning my reputation with her, so let us talk about Venari. A few years ago, she found herself as part of a team assigned to the mall by Cartel V, which is different from Cartel Ba that's hanging out in Orobos. Now the brokers in general, they're quite mysterious, but it's obvious that they're into making deals, making profits, gaining influence and power. To them, what is more alluring than a mall walker? Someone with an uncanny ability to hop in and out of the mall, a domain for which none is supposed to escape. Assuming that Venari was sent into the mall for a similar purpose, a pursuit of power, a pursuit of profit, you have to wonder if this was actually a suicide mission. Just drop some agents in there, hope that they can find a way out again. Daring for sure, but that's not how the mission went. Traveling in a large group, it may provide the illusion of security. In reality, it just made them a more tempting target. Her party learned that the hard way. Their numbers were whittled away until there were few enough of them left to hide themselves. That did slow the hunt, but it did not stop it. When it was just Venari left, she accepted the truth of the situation. Solitude offered the best chance of survival, at least until we arrive. The first time that we run into her, that is while questing through Maldraxxus. Margrave Crexus is slain. Vaida suggests that we use our super duper mall walker abilities to jump into the mall and find a missing Baron. While tracking him down on our own is a bit too tricky. Bolvar, he might know a way of finding his missing horseman, since Darien was also left behind in the mall. He provides us with an amulet, which each of the 4 horsemen carries as well, imbued with a power that links them to one another. After powering it up with a bit of dark magic at Zoval's cauldron, it leads us straight to Darien, locked up in a cage. The key we then collect from Breflin the Brand, but getting Darien out of there, remaining unnoticed within the maw, it proves to be rather difficult.
You will never escape the maw!
I was curious what the Moorsworn were searching for. You are that mortal who swept through and thwarted the jailer's festivities. I am Venari, a humble broker trapped in this land of torment. I have a proposition for you. Come.
Why would you aid us, broker?
Your presence here draws attention. The sort of attention that's bad for my business dealings. No offense, of course. I have picked up a few tricks to help me survive here. The jailer will take notice if you engage his forces, so it is wise to go around them whenever possible. I trust you are not I can conceal us long enough. Stay close. I do not wish to draw attention with a fight.
How long have you been trapped here?
Longer than you have, mortal. That is all you need to know.
She'll help us find our missing Baron, but her help, it doesn't come for free. She wants our shiny new amulets, and since it already served its purpose, we decide to make the trade.
The Moorsworn are certainly eager to find you. We need to make this quick.
Do not rush us, broker. There are others who must be saved, along with the Maldraxxi Baron.
You speak of the mortals left behind when your friend here escaped. I fear they've been taken to Torghast. That tower, looming in the distance. The jailer keeps his most prized possessions within.
Then show us a way to breach that tower.
It would be folly to go after them now. Remain focused. There will be time for theatrics later.
With Venari's aid, we're able to bring our mission to a success. And while she offers advice on how to get Alexandros and Darien out of the maw, she herself makes no effort to leave. Soon enough, we found ourselves back in this domain, in search of souls to save. Well, in truth, to bring back to our covenant and put them to work. Our earlier escapade, it has drawn the jailer's attention and his ire. After all, none have successfully eluded him before, except for Venari. Now his forces are on high alert, hunting down any errant souls that the fabled Mallwalker may try to steal. It has made things quite inconvenient for our broker friends, and if we're going to work together, we'll need to set a few ground rules. None must be told of her existence, and our endeavors here are our own to accomplish. She will provide us with a Soul Keeper, an artifact that is capable of storing souls found within the Maw. By accepting the Soul Keeper, we enter into this contract, and we agree to her terms. We'll also freely share any valuable information that we discover within the Maw. In exchange, she will allow us to purchase tools to help us survive this realm and rescue the souls that we seek.
You must. It is remarkable what you can find discarded in the Maw. I pride myself in recognizing a valuable asset when I see one.
So, with the Soul Keeper, we can hold a small number of souls until we return to our covenant. But that will be of little benefit if we don't survive ourselves. There is a substance, Stygia, that is found in some creatures within the Maw. It is the byproduct of the violent destruction of a soul within this place. The stronger the soul, the more Stygia they'll have. If we collect some for her, she can turn it into many useful things. We start off with something simple, like a cipher of relocation that will teleport us back to Venari's refuge. But as the trust between us grows, more things become available, like enabling transportation through chaotic riftstones, or unlocking the Anima Flow teleporter, which allows for quick travel to different sections of the Maw, or upgrades that make our stay in the Tower of Torghast just a little bit easier. Or the things that will keep most people trapped in this hellish domain. A gadget that adds a socket to gear and an unbound reality fragment, which will discover an upgrade to a random conduit from amongst our lowest item level conduits. All in all, some nifty upgrades. But per usual, it all has a price.
With that, Rule 1. Always have an exit strategy. To ensure one's continued existence within the Maw, one must maintain a plan of escape at all times. I acknowledge the irony of me creating this rule despite my current inability to depart this place. You may laugh briefly without causing offense. Enough chuckling. Gather the Stygia I require and return with haste. Your cipher awaits.
You trespass in my domain, mortal. No matter where you hide, I will find you.
The jailer has learned and is now paying a lot more attention to his domain. But for some reason, he's still not just instantly murdering us. This happens in stages. He seems to be choosing the old Lich King tactic of taunting us, slowly ramping up the stakes and the pain. Now, it does change the terms of our arrangements with Venari. Though we may wish to depart with our precious souls, we now have additional matters to settle first. The extra attention from the jailer, it does not bode well for either of us. We'll have to reinforce her wards to ensure that he doesn't notice Venari as well. And while we do, she explains more of her rules.
Rule 2. Keep a low profile. The Maw is no place for theatrics. Get in, get what you want, and get out, while endeavoring to retain your limbs and other possessions. Now that the jailer's noticed you, you're doomed. Anything of import you do in the Maw will catch his attention. And attention is exactly what we don't want. First, he'll turn the Soul Seekers on you. Then the towers. Then his kill squads. And after that, well, you don't want to know. Surgical and meticulous. That's how you stay alive. The good news is that you're safe here in my refuge. Not so out there. Remember, should a tragic fate befall you, some of that precious Stygia might slip through your fingers. Fret not, mortal. A day at most away from his gaze, and the jailer will turn his attention elsewhere. Then it will be safe for you to venture out again, to acquire Stygia. For me.
That's the penalty for dying in the Maw. You'll lose a portion of your Stygia. You can retrieve it Dark Souls style by going back to your corpse. And now, one final task remains before we leave this cursed realm. The Mawsworn regularly transfer souls to various blocks of Torghast from many different areas within the Maw. We place a beacon in one such area, so Venari can be informed on when the next transfer happens.
Rule 3. Trust is earned, and information has a price. You recall the cipher I gave you? That's right. You are now in my debt.
As we talked about last week, we place the beacon and then we can see Bane trying to escape Torghast. Our allies, they're still alive, we can still save our leaders. And Venari, she hooks us up with a way to breach the jailer's tower.
Torghast, huh? Once I told you that your friends were being held inside, I knew it was only a matter of time before you came to me for aid. Because I was able to anticipate your request, it just so happens I have already acquired a portal device that leads into the tower. I will dispense with the usual warnings and disclaimers, as your unique combination of courage and foolhardiness would render them moot. Do not ask how it was obtained. Simply consider it a gesture of goodwill that you are now obligated to repay. I look forward to our future transactions, Walker.
In the tower, we do run into more brokers, but none that have a specific cartel title, nor do they seem to follow Venari, as we need to trick them into offering us better deals. Is this just a game mechanic to allow us to buy upgrades, or is there more at play here, as these random brokers inside of Torghast, they just seem to be a little bit odd? Who knows? All the same, we get Bane out of there, we even find the Rune Carver. They're a prisoner of the jailer, who Venari helps set free. Somewhat anyways, one hand of them, which is plenty to put them to work, and we have someone to craft our legendaries.
Rule 4. Maintain a list of those who might wish to end your existence. Do not flatter yourself. Your presence on this list is among the least of the Sworn's functionaries. At the top of my list is an Inquisitor. His position has risen. I would be most generous were his existence to cease by your actions.
The jailer might have his eye on us from time to time, but he's also very aware of Venari, and he has his forces work on methods trying to track her down. This Inquisitor Devaki that she wants us to kill, they have a whole bunch of Cartel V corpses around them, and behind them we find that method of tracking. It's a sphere, pulsed with magic that is utilized by the brokers. A message is inscribed on it. We know what you did, Venari. You will pay the price.
Return. My cartel has been sending agents into the mall for some time. A dangerous assignment, but the lure of valuable information has a certain appeal to my kind.
We know Venari's story on how she ended up here. But her cartel is so invested on taking her out that they've been sending more agents into the maw. Even in Oribos, we have broker Verain questioning us. She deals with assets and liabilities for Cartel V, and she's heard that we're able to freely travel between Oribos and the maw, which is a place of great interest to her cartel, and she has a few questions. Is it true that the jailer's forces have grown in both strength and number? Which we answer truthfully. It has grown more powerful since the nefarious betrayal, so it remains quite a dangerous place in which to conduct business. Question 2. Do we find it challenging to survive amidst the oppressive and unceasing horrors within the maw? Here, you can answer whatever you like. I like to believe that I eat monsters for breakfast, which brings them to their final question. As you've braved the maw, has Venari proven to be a valuable ally to you? Rule number 1. You do not talk about Venari. So we play dumb. But this broker is pretty sure that we know who she's talking about. After all, there is no way a mortal like us could survive an excursion to the mall without her assistance. They want to know everything about our dealings with Venari. If she has chosen not to return to Oribos with us, then she will have questions to answer as well. Still we play dumb, and she leaves us with a word of advice. Be careful who you trust, especially within the maw. There is something that Venari's not telling us, and she's honest about that. There are many things that she chooses not to tell us, as she's sure that there are many things that we do not tell her. Trust is built on discretion. Without it, business would be impossible. That being said, she has trusted us with her most valuable secret, the location to this very refuge. All she asked is that we trust her in return. A trust that is built up over time, proving ourselves to Venari week by week, day in and day out, visiting the mall to do all kinds of things, completing weekly quests and daily quests, taking on the forces of the jailer, tracking down rares, participating in mini-events, return to her with all kind of things found in this domain. Not to mention the boatloads of Stygia. There's also an achievement, which is called Deciphering Death's Intention, for which you have to return specific items. For example, there's Subject 638, a dead night elf at Zoval's Cauldron that holds Tormentor's notes. On live, you just return the item, a reminder of what would happen should we fail in our efforts against the jailer. On beta though, this item could actually be read. Subject 638, it's a fellow mall walker. Since lore-wise, we are not the only ones. Mortals had to choose different covenants, and this mall walker was captured by the jailer's forces to then be experimented upon. Experiment 72 Hypothesis. Mall walker anima extraction provides more power when soul forging. Test 1. Physical pain. Various implements used to inflict physical pain. Subject was highly resistant to all physical methods. Test 2. Sound. Partial success of anima extraction through constant exposure to gnomish tavern jigs. Problematic implementation caused several Mossworn to abandon post, resulting in subject nearly escaping. Test number 3. Forced visualizations. Similar implementation to the torture chambers of Torghast. Subject forced to relive specific moments. Breaking point. 115th run of the burning of Teldrassil. Results: significant anima extraction, resulting in equally significant Stygia generation. Soulforge fully supplied equal to 10 times normal sources. Transfer of Maul Walker prisoners to Soulforges, ordered per Warden Korav. I wonder why this note didn't make it to live. Maybe the torment of reliving the burning of Teldrassil, it was a bit too much. I did really want to mention it though, as lore-wise it's pretty cool to see the acknowledgement of multiple Maul Walkers, and some of them actually failing. It adds a bit more danger to the idea of the Maw, a domain that's not fully available at the start. Some of the areas, they're simply too dangerous without the right tools to conceal ourselves. After earning more of her trust, Venari hooks us up and gives us Rule 5. Be audacious.
Rule 5. Be audacious when the situation demands it. The Mossworn rarely expect this. Perdition Hold is teeming with activity. I must know why. Take this experimental cipher. Should it function as I expect, entering Perdition Hold should not result in your sudden demise. Probably.
This cipher works, hiding our anima patterns and vulnerabilities, preventing our enemies from dealing 200% extra damage while in Perdition Hold. Inside, we find a surviving broker of Cartel V. It's Seeker Zeros that's been torturing them, trying to find a way to track down Venari. This is a threat best not left standing, so we take them out, but not before discovering that the other prisoners, they've been taken into the Beast Warrens. It is unfortunate that they should suffer such a fate, but make no mistake. They are as much our enemy as are the Mossworn. Those brokers were doomed from the moment they arrived, and even if we were to rescue them, doing so would only invite ruin upon us both. A ruthless mentality, Venari admits, but it is the one that is necessary for survival in the Maw. Some time passes, some trust is earned, and she makes a startling discovery. The captured agents, they've led to new ways for the Mossworn to track her down, and now strange new runes empower the jailer's hounds.
Will that be Rule 6? Implement new concealment measures regularly. The Mossworn never stop devising new ways to find us. The cipher will dampen your aroma in their warrens. Bring me the runes which animate these fiends, that I may better understand their function.
A brand new cipher. This one that prevents hearing the otherworldly screeching that goes on in the Beast Warrens, which normally would fear and deal damage to even the bravest among us. Vebrux, asset analysis. They're chained up here. They are sent to recoup their losses from Venari's betrayal. Their compatriots, they've all been drained of their essence to then be turned into those foul runes. He is going to be next if we don't help him out. All his Stygia will be ours if we save him from Room Master Mavrok. Though truth be told, he owes us a great more deal than just the Stygia that he has, and he has nothing left to offer except for wisdom and warnings. Venari is not who she seems. She betrayed her former associates and will do the same to us if she know we spoke. Do not trust her lies. Again, there are two stories being told here, and who knows what the truth might be. Rule 7 is that betrayal is inevitable. When she was working with the tracking runes we discovered, she detected a device of broker origin nearby. It must have been brought into the maw by the captured expedition, and we tried to retrieve it, only to run into a trap set up by Febrax. It's hard to trust the word of someone that's trying to kill us. Force us to take them out of the maw. With Venari's aid and an impressive display of the power of Stygia, Febrax is taken care of.
Rule 7. Betrayal is inevitable, even from those close to you. Especially from those close to you. Now that we know there are mortals who can leave this realm, I suddenly find myself in what is, shall we say, an enviable position. And my cartel does not handle envy particularly well. Those who assigned me here years ago are now sending assassins to destroy me. Should you encounter others of my cartel in the Shadowlands, they are not to be trusted. If they realize that you are my trading partner, I suspect they will eagerly end you in an effort to harm my prosperity. For that is what we are, mortal. Partners. From now until our last flame flickers. In closing, do not betray me.
Which still leaves a whole bunch of questions left to be answered. How is she always able to produce whatever we require, like that Soul Keeper or a specific key to the Tower of Torghast? At first I figured that she might be in league with the Jailer as well, but then his forces, they are going through a whole lot of trouble trying to track her down. Why does Venari stay within the maw? Is this perhaps related to that betrayal that Cartel Vey keeps mentioning? What horrible things await her on the outside that make her want to stay in hell? Or is she simply preparing herself? We are supplying her with a whole bunch of power found within the maw, and that Stygia, it can do quite a bit of damage. I'm really curious where all of this might go in the future. If we'll see a broker patch and get much more information about them. But for now, you're up to speed on the story of Venari. So as always, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos. Leave a like if you enjoyed this one. And until next time, see ya!